Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be finally catching up with Carl Frampton. Carl, had a few near misses, but we're here now. How are we, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, life's good. Early start this morning, but can't complain.
Tyson Fury press conference today here in Morecambe ahead of the huge fight for all the marbles. Just give me your sort of rundown on this fight. Obviously, it had a bit of jeopardy with the cut, the delay, but we're here now. It's getting closer. It's a mega fight.
It's a monstrous fight. I'm just glad it's happening. I think that obviously everybody was disappointed with, the cut that Fury had. But this is what happens in boxing. These things happen, and you just have to get on with it. I think the fight now is probably a bigger fight because of the wee bit of drama around that and everything else that was going on. So, I mean, I'm like sports fans throughout the world. I'm buzzing for this one.
Were you surprised at all in terms of maybe some of the conspiracy theories that came out there around Tyson? And every time I suppose Tyson comes under good criticism and comes under, say constructive and everything, there's always something surrounding him, whatever he does. Were you surprised because you know yourself, cuts and stuff just happened, don't they?
I mean, I wasn't surprised because I know what the boxing world's like and I know what people are like, but it was just silly. What was he doing? Cutting himself? Or it was bizarre. Look. He's a fighter, he spars people, and sometimes you get cut. That's what happens. So, was I surprised that people were saying them things? No, because you know what people are like, but it was just stupid. It was just a freak accident that happens sometimes.
When you look at the fight, obviously Tyson, heavyweight, huge man, Usyk, who's climbed up from cruiserweight, dominated there, had some impressive victories at heavyweight against Oleksandr Anthony Joshua. If you're Oleksandr Usyk, how do you approach a guy like Tyson Fury who switch hits for a big man, who can move around, but he's also shown in the likes of Deontay Wilder fight that he can walk you down as well? How do you approach a guy like that?
I think he has to move. He's not going to stand and have a fight with Tyson Fury, who's got a lot of weight and height on him, and probably strength as well. I think Fury's style will be aggressive. It'll have to be aggressive as well. I think if it's a boxing match, then that gives Usyk more of a chance. But I think if we see Fury from the kind of Wilder trilogies, certainly the second and third fights where he kind of was very aggressive and on the front foot, I think that gives him the best chance. So I don't think it's going to be difficult to kind of decipher what sort of style both guys are going to employ in these fights. Usyk's going to move and Fury's going to be on the front foot. But who wins it?
Yeah, how do you see it? Like, as in outside looking in, I suppose you go Tyson's natural heavyweight, big mover, been in there with the biggest punches, etc. But Usyk, to his credit, I mean, he had Joshua on the ropes in the first fight, I believe, at Wembley, and he looked like he took his foot off the gas when he had him hurt. He's a sharp puncher, maybe not concussive, but just tell me, how do you think of him?
He's accurate and he hits you a lot, and that's what happens. And look, he's still a big guy. He's not one of the biggest heavyweights in the world, but I wouldn't like to be hit by him, even if it was a heavyweight. But I think he can punch harder probably than people give him credit for. But obviously the accuracy is something. But I think if we see Fury, a bit like Klitschko used to fight, 1-2s, hold you, push you down, lie on you. If he's allowed to do that in the fight, and there's a referee that allows him and lets him get away with that, then I think that's probably the style that we're going to see from Tyson.
Talk to me now about next week. Devin Haney, pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, calls out the best, tries to fight the best all the time. He's got Ryan Garcia. Now, before this fight, obviously in the amateurs, I think they're 3-3 in the amateurs, so they're familiar with each other. But with how this build-up's gone, I know there's selling tickets and I know there's putting bums in seats. In your opinion, from the outside looking in, would you have concern over Ryan Garcia and his mental state going into this fight?
Absolutely. I think that some of the stuff that he's been saying have been mad. You can see there's clearly a bit of an issue. I think that Haney's certainly the favourite in the fight. There's always a chance that Garcia could win it, but I think everything has to be perfect for him to win it, and that's his conditioning. But also mentally, he has to be on it. and I just don't know if he is at the minute. So I really like Haney. He's someone who's impressed me over his last couple of fights as well. Quality fighter, and he has to be the favourite.
When you see him against the like of Regis Prograis, who's a former, I think 2-time world champion, and how he dominated, how highly do you rank him in, like, say, a pound for pound list? I know they're always subjective because you've got Fury in there who's always fought heavyweight, and it's how do you have to go up multiple weights? Do you purely base it on skill? But where do you see him in terms of the top table in boxing?
I mean, he's definitely top 10, maybe top 5 pound for pound. You've got I think, in my opinion, number 1 and number 2 are easy, and that's Crawford and Inoue. Everyone kind of, there's a number after that they're kind of clambering for the top 5 spot. Haney certainly could be in the top 5, but definitely top 10. He's a quality fighter, and only going to get better as well.
Obviously, with all the talks of the 5v5s, we're not going to go into that, but I want to know what you think of Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. I was speaking to Joe Gallagher about this fight, and he just goes, in terms of like a hardcore boxing fan purist, this is an incredible fight. Technical ability from both, obviously the power and destructive nature of Beterbiev. How do you see this fight if you had to lean one way or the other?
If I have to lean one way or the other, I think I'm leaning towards Beterbiev. I think that he punches really hard. He's extremely strong and physical as well. Bivol's a bit more of a mover. Technically very, very good, as is Beterbiev though. It's a great fight, like you're saying, like Joe Gallagher's saying. Yeah, I think if you're going to pick anyone, I think Beterbiev has to be the favourite.
Talked about Deontay Wilder, Zhilei, Zhang. Now these rumours got sort of quietened when I asked Eddie Hearn the question. He said that fight's not done. We're still hearing rumblings of it, and then it's just waiting to sort of, show its face kind of thing. I was surprised because I thought there was a rematch between Parker and Zhang, but look, things happen and we're maybe seeing Wilder. How do you see that fight, considering how Wilder did last time out against Parker?
I think it's a good fight. I say a good fight.
Yeah,
it's interesting. There's not too often that Wilder's in good fights, to be honest. Obviously, we've seen the trilogy with Fury, which were good, but apart from that, sometimes they can be a bit dull as fights, and he's always relying on that big right hand and knock people out. Zhang, I love watching Zhang. Concerns about his engine, but his punch selection, his combination punching are top of the range. I think he's quality to watch. I don't even know who. I mean, it's an interesting fight, as you said.
If we get Wilder, like as in destructive Wilder, maybe, because there's a lot of talk about his last fight, and I think it almost in a way takes away from Parker's victory. Parker's game plan was bang on.
Yeah, Parker was really good. I think that what he's done with Andy Lee, I mean, is incredible. If you look, I think he has to be the most improved heavyweight on the planet at the minute. So I think it's a bit unfair to Joseph Parker by just saying that Wilder was poor. I think Parker was really good. Wilder maybe wasn't at his best, but Parker was excellent that night.
What do you want to see Parker do next? He's called out Dillian Whyte, and you know what? He's two hilarious call-outs, and I think he's done Joshua this morning as well. What do you make of that?
Someone said he done Joshua this morning. He's fun. He's a funny fucker, Big Joe. I like him a lot. I love the Dillian Whyte call out. I think it was hilarious. I mean, both of them are good fights. Dillian Whyte beat him the first time, but I would imagine Parker would be a strong favourite in terms of the form that both guys are in at the minute in that fight. So that's definitely a fight that interests me. Yeah.
In terms of obviously his improvements, that's obviously down to the work he's been doing with Andy Lee. Touted as obviously one of the best trainers around at the minute. We see the work he's doing with the likes of a Paddy Donovan, who I think's exceptional talent. How highly do you rate Andy Lee?
I rate him really highly. I think I know Andy quite well. He was an established amateur when I was just coming on the amateur scene and the high performance scene in Ireland, and I always like listening to him. He's full of wisdom, like beyond his years. And he's not that much older than me, to be honest, but full of wisdom, Andy. And I think he's a quality coach. He's already proven that. But I think you're going to see a flock of fighters wanting to train with Andy Lee over the next couple of years.
100%. Look, last one from me. I know it's not something you're probably bothered about talking about because it keeps getting mentioned here, but we haven't spoken since Barry McGuigan's comments about the things you've achieved in your career and wouldn't have achieved it without me, myself, my family. I know you've done an article and stuff like that about it, but from the horse's mouth, Surprised at his comments, or are you past that now?
I'm not surprised because I know what they're like. But look, I don't even want to talk about it too much anymore. They keep bringing it up, but I don't think it's ever going to go well for the McGuigans when they keep bringing this up. In my opinion, egotistical.
Why does it keep getting brought up? It's all been done and dusted, has it not now?
Yeah, well, why do they keep bringing it? You have to ask them. I have no idea, but they're never going to win. So I would suggest they probably should stop talking about it. Egotistical. I think it's very disrespectful to the other people that have trained me in my career. You know, Barry's got to remember he approached me to turn pro. I was a #1 fighter as an amateur in the Four Nations at featherweight. So it wasn't as if he got some moron and turned him into a world champion. Look, Shane's a very, very good coach and certainly helped me throughout my career. Barry was good as a manager and promoter to try and get me in the limelight and get me the attention that I got. But to say that I couldn't have done it without them is hugely egotistical, I think. It's almost like tell me you love me without saying, or tell me I love myself without saying I love myself. You know what I mean? It's like just a bit up himself, that's all. Not surprising though.
Look, Carl, I appreciate your time. I know we've been trying to get you on the channel, and we'll catch up soon, hopefully out in Saudi for this fight.
Okay, mate, thank you.